Hey everyone, my name's Jonas. I'm a bookseller here out of Western Australia. That's really what I've niched down to in my shop, and get a lot of satisfaction of finding old cool books and learning a little bit about them and passing them on to the right people. Just wanted to go through with what I sold this week on eBay, and yeah, had a few sales. Firstly, I had 4 Vampirettes books 1, 2, 3 and 4. They sold as a bundle for $22. I did a hardcover bonsai on how to grow and care for miniature plants and trees. I originally found this in a storage unit, so I found this with a whole bunch of other stuff, many books, but this one sold for $10.98 inclusive postage, so I pretty much gave it away. No money made on that, but nonetheless I have a new customer that I can send marketing to. These two vintage Raymond Feist, they're brilliant fantasy saga written by Janny Wirtz and Raymond E. Feist. Got Mistress of the Empire and Daughter of the Empire. These are the first edition paperbacks. I think there's 4 in this series. These sold for a great price, $45, plus because I put these international, which I do with all my listings, I got $36-ish postage on top of that. Got Marble Bar to Mandurah. It's about the Perth Rail Network, a history of passenger rail services in Western Australia. This didn't actually come through eBay. This was my first ever website sale, so I'm not paying eBay fees on this. I can engage with the customer direct prior to sending the book off, and yeah, it's really good, so I'm really happy. When they purchased this on my website, it automatically took it off my eBay listing, so setting up that little automation feature has worked really well. So every time I list something on eBay, it goes to my website as a new item in my inventory, and can go into the correct category, and then if something sells on eBay, it comes out off my website as well. In this case, first sale, really happy. Also made a couple of great sales last week, though they were obviously went to one person. They picked up a lot of early Australian literature. I just so happened to have 2 additional copies of the books they purchased, so I sold them both for $50 each. This is The Pearling Master by Tom Ronan. It's a first edition hardcover, really 1958 is when it was published. The cool thing about this one is the art on the front cover was done by Mary Durack, a prominent West Australian artist, and this is a WA author, Tom Ronan. And Deep of the Sky by Tom Ronan also. This is the 1963 first edition Australia. It did come out in 1962 in the UK, but this one's first Australian edition. So they were both great sales. I should have taken some video of the other ones, but I didn't. We've got Art in Australia, a quarterly magazine, The Art of Lionel Lindsay. This is a really cool, fragile, delicate magazine that's come out. Number 23, March 1928. You can see it's pretty fragile and falling apart. Back covers off. So this is by Lionel Lindsay, or Sir Lionel Lindsay. He is the brother of Norman Lindsay, who you might know is the author of The Magic Pudding and various other Australian literature, children's literature, a very famous painter as well. But Lionel also was an artist and had an obsession for drawing, much like his sibling. So that one's off to South Australia. Now this one's cool. This is the Leyland brothers, Mike and Mal Leyland. I grew up when these guys were on telly, traveling around Australia. You know, very much like that kind of bush tucker man style adventures. A lot of it's now on YouTube, you know, these adventures, but this is how they documented it in a book. So Where Dead Men Lie, that sold for $30 on offer. Now something really cool as well, we've got a Southwest Aboriginal Studies bibliography with annotations and appendices. So this is a draft of an actual publication. It's a pre-publication draft from 1980 of an actual course. So this sold for $75. Checking out Wikipedia for Booker finalists or prize-winning books is a really good opportunity. Generally, ones that cause controversy is also is worth collecting or finding to sell, as they often have a big wide following, and people often collect this same book but published at different years or by different printing presses in different countries. Like they might collect the first edition UK, the first edition US, and the first edition Australian. Stephen King is an author that people do that a lot with, one of the more popular authors. But also there's Australian literature, is certainly a category that people don't look at enough, and there's a lot of collectors out there that are willing to pay really good money for a really good condition Australian first edition. And this one, really important book, The Satanic Verses by Salman Rushdie. This is a first edition from 1988, and this book came out, it was really controversial in its time. This is based on the life of Muhammad, and was a finalist actually for the Booker Prize of that year, and was beaten by Peter Carey, Oscar and Lucinda. That's another first edition I have. So yeah, originally I purchased this one off eBay to resell. The person had no idea that is a rare book. So I picked that up for a steal and I sold it for $300. These are constantly selling $200 plus. This is a fairly good edition. So another handy hint is looking, when you're in the op shop, is looking for books like this, often sandwiched between other books on the shelf. These are usually produced with passion by an author, a one-off author, often autobiographical or local history, and I find these do really, really well. You have a very limited pool of people that are interested, whether they're from that region or they're related to that family. But they're usually produced in very short print runs, only because printing is an expensive exercise. You know, to produce 500 to 1,000 books might cost $10,000 to $15,000. That's without proofing and artwork, etc. So when you do see these, always grab them, and you find when they launch, they usually have a launch party or something like that. Friends and family will go to collect a copy for themselves, and it's very common that you will find them signed by the author, which also adds to your price. So this is about the early settlers here in our southwest of Western Australia, and the Catterick Group Settler's Daughter by Nearly McRobb. So yeah, you'll often find these 50 cents to $1. Always buy them. Just a note to any Indigenous viewers, just a warning that this next book contains images of persons that have deceased. So this is a core book, Explorers of Australia. This has been rebound at some point. You can see they've taken off the original spine and cut out the original cloth. These old books, especially early exploring books, this is by Fabink. He was an early Australian explorer. They often contain some really cool pictures that collectors are after. So this one here contains a chief of the Bogan River tribe, and people will collect Indigenous Australian content and early maps for that matter. Generally they're not too fussed on condition. It's more the rarity of finding these books that book buyers will snap these up. So a book like this you can get anywhere from $50 to $150. Thanks everyone for watching. If you enjoyed that content, let me know down in the comments, that'd be great. And if you're interested to know anything about me or what I'm doing or any knowledge, then please hit me up in the comments. I'll try and get through to the comments and reply to anybody. But thank you very much for listening, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.